Alright, we are on YouTube, starting up on Rumble. Is the music going? Yes, it is. Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened to date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for an important, interesting happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. The sources of this information come from the smart device application, historical calendar, and today in history, and of course, the main source, the website, onthisday.com. I'm still in the habit of referencing the smart devices first. I don't know why. Anyway, for links to these sources and anything else potentially interesting, please check the underbar of the description below. And, of course, all links gathered throughout the show will appear post-live stream. I haven't done that in a while. Anyway, I am Aoxander.
Refuge.
And you, viewer, are you. Thank you very much for coming in, whether you're watching us live or at some point in the time-space continuum that... You know?
In 2024,
hold on a second. Your Count Dankula was going there. Yeah, anyway, today is Tears' Day, aka Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. So we got an off of main source article here in 118, if you'd like to take that.
In 118, Hadrian, who became emperor a year previously on Trajan's death, made his entry into Rome.
Alright.
455, Roman military commander Avitus is proclaimed emperor of the Western Roman Empire. 551, a major earthquake struck Peru, triggering a devastating tsunami that affected the coastal towns of Byzantine, Oinsia, causing thousands of deaths. Oof.
Dang. That's a lot of deaths. Moving on up to the year 660, we have the Battle of Hoangzgirabol at Nonsan, China. A 50,000-strong Silla-Korean force led by General Kim Yun-shin annihilated the army of Baiji and killed their leader Gyabyak. All right, you know, these are actual names, and like I'm getting the cricket symptoms here. Like my brain is turning to goo trying to pronounce these.
Right.
Yep. Moving on up to 969, the Fatimian general Jauhar led the Friday prayer in Gustat in the name of Caliph al-Muziz Li-Din Allah, thereby symbolically completed the Fatimian conquest of Egypt. Yep. Moving on up to 1357, Charles IV, Holy Roman Emperor, assists laying the foundation stones of Charles Bridge in Prague. I wonder if that bridge is even still around. Charles Bridge in Prague. Let's see. I want Nicosia. Let's see. Charles Bridge. It's still around. Yeah, let me bigger this. So it's this this bridge.
Oh, cool.
Looks really cool. And actually, what's really interesting. I mean, you know,
still usable. Oh, wow.
Oh, definitely still usable. Oh, yeah, they don't build these things like they used to. But what's really interesting is, like, even back then, like, they knew about currents and such. So, like, you know, you're looking at this bridge, and you're seeing the majority of the protruding structures are all on one side. And then in the water, there's these triangular things jutting out of the water. What these do is these, if there's any flooding or if there's anything like, you know, big coming down, it catches it, so that way it doesn't hit the actual foundations of the bridge. Like, this bridge has a lot, like it had, like, every, like, in between every arch, as you can see here, as soon as the picture loads, if it loads. Come on, load picture. Okay, well, there it is. You can see all of these reinforced sections on this side, and that's where the current's coming from. The other side doesn't really have much reinforcement because, you know, there's no reason to. Really interesting. What else do we got here? 1386, the old Swiss Confederacy made great strides in establishing control over its territory by soundly defeating the Duchy of Austria in the Battle of Sempach. Huh. So we have the Swiss fighting. Like, we know them today as, you know, an incredibly neutral country, and that's because of their geography. They're allowed to do so. But yeah, the Swiss used to be a military force. Well, still is, but, like, you know, used to actually, like, you know, go to war and fight. So, what do we got here in 1401?
At 1401, Turco-Mongol, ruler of Tamerlane, or Timur, attacked in Jalarid, Sultanate, destroying Baghdad, killing 20,000. Oof.
Yikes. Now, Tamerlane, I'm looking at the bust here, kind of reminds me a little bit of somebody I know. A little bit. I'm talking about you, King.
Oh.
He's a guy, he has a beard, wears a cool hat. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Was trying to get a chuckle
cool.
out of you. Now, what is this next one? What the hell? 1517?
Oh. 1517. Gelders crowd robbed, murders population of Aspirin.
What?
Gelders crowd robber. Gelders crowd robber murders population. What?
I know. Like,
my brain.
I know. Like, is it somebody who robbed a crowd and turned around and murdered the entire population of a city or like a town or whatever? Like, what?
My brain.
Yeah, like I'm trying to figure this out, and I'm not finding anything. This is going to require some digging. So if anybody can figure this out, let us know in the comments section. That'd be fantastic. So, speaking of comments, do we have any comments? No, but we do have a viewer. Awesome. Oops. Yeah. And what else do we got here? Gotta explore.
1536, French navigator Jacques Cartier returned to Saint Malo, France, from his exploration of what is now Canada.
Ah, yeah, we were talking about the other day the first commercial exchange between European and natives from the Americas was because of the same guy, Jacques Cartier, up in New Brunswick. Moving on up to 1541, Estavio de Gama departed Massawa, leaving behind 400 matchlock men and 150 slaves under his brother Cristovao de Gama, with orders to help the Emperor of Ethiopia defeat Ahmad ibn Ibrahim al-Ghazi, who had invaded his empire. Huh. Okay. 1572, death of Gorkha martyrs, Calvinist militant force of the Waterguzen, the Sea Beggars, captured and hanged 19 Catholic priests in Briel. Yikes. 1609, Emperor Rudolph II granted Bohemian Protestants freedom of religion via letter of majesty. All right, didn't we talk about this yesterday or something? Like, I'm pretty sure we spoke about Bohemian religious freedoms, and something to do about some letter of majesty or some kind of proclamation, or maybe that was something else. No, that's Australia. That's actually coming up here. 1686, Germany, Sweden, and Spain signed an anti-French League of Augsburg. Against France. Yeah. What do we got here in 1745?
1745, French ships carrying body Prince Charlie to Scotland, the Dutally and Elizabeth battle HMS Lion, eventually escaping with 107 killed on both sides.
Now I'm wondering, is it 107 in total, or is it 107 each? That's the way it's written is a little vague. We got an off of main source here.
1775, the Braddock expedition was sadly defeated by a smaller French and Native American force in its attempt to capture Fort Duquesne and what is now downtown Pittsburgh.
Huh. So if anybody here lives in Philadelphia, or more specifically in or around the Pittsburgh area, Yeah, like go to downtown and try to find out where this Fort Duquesne was. Interesting stuff.
1762, Catherine the Great becomes Empress of Russia, following the coup against her husband,
That's a typo. Sorry.
Peter III.
Ah. I wonder why Catherine the Great was called that. Let's see. Why was Catherine the Great called such? Well, let's see here. Catherine the Great. Let's see here. Was the reigning empress of Russia from 1762 to 1796. She came to power after overthrowing her husband. So she overthrew her own husband. Under her long reign, inspired by the ideas of the Enlightenment, Russia experienced a renaissance of culture and sciences, which led to the founding of many new cities, universities, and theaters, along with a large-scale immigration from the rest of Europe and the recognition of Russia as one of the great powers of Europe. Wow! So she did a really good job.
I can't imagine a woman ever being in charge of that place.
Well, I mean, like, you know, like it's really unfortunate that, especially in today's world, that, you know, like, women are getting so much positions of power without actually having the credentials. They're just check boxes, and it's just making the rest of them look bad. This is a prime example of a woman in power actually having the ability to lead, having the ability to do what she needs to do, and not just lead, but like vastly increase, you know, the greatness of what she's leading. It is possible. Women leaders, you know, are a thing. And when they have the experience and the knowledge and the wherewithal, then they can go, you know, like they can fly. Yeah, like people need to recognize like credentials over what, you know, what your color is or what bathroom you go to, you know? But like Catherine II, Catherine the Great, you know, one of the all-time, you know, greatest women in all of history, you know, right here. Like, you know, look what she did. So, but going from one great person to arguably another, as far as, you know, in the arts, you know, world and all that stuff, what do we have here in 1762 as well?
1762, the Mozart family grand tour of Europe begins, lifting the profile of son Wolfgang Amadeus.
Amadeus. Oh, Amadeus. But I don't know the beat. Great song. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, renowned pianist. And then you got a double article here.
1776, the U.S. Declaration of Independence is read to George Washington's troops in New York. George Washington ordered the Declaration of Independence to be read to members of the Continental Army in Manhattan, while thousands of British troops in Staten Island prepared for the Battle of Long Island.
And if there's any drunks watching this, they're not preparing for a battle involving a cocktail. So, which I can never drink a Long Island iced tea again, not after my 21st birthday in Vegas. That's almost as bad as the incident I had, you know, with tequila, also known as the Night of 1,000 Handshakes.
Yeah.
Moving on up to 1780, Denmark declared neutrality, joining First League of Armed Neutrality to protect shipping. 1789, we have during the French Revolution, the National Assembly renamed itself the National Constituent Assembly. It was held in Versailles, and it began preparations for a French Constitution, which we spoke, I believe it was yesterday, about you know, drafting up 30 people to create a constitution or something for the new republic. Yeah. Like, how do you get 30 people to agree on anything is beyond me. That seems like a lot of people to get involved with that, but 1790, during the Russo-Swedish War, the second battle of Svenskund in the Baltic Sea, the Swedish Navy captured 1/3 of the Russian fleet. Yikes! That's not good. And here goes Sweden again. Look at that. Like, what? Isn't Sweden a landlocked nation?
Right.
Like, how did they capture any form of a fleet? But obviously they're out, you know, on the offensive. So. Oh, and here we go, 1793, and this, you know, it on the surface level, it surprises me why this is not on the main source, but at the same time, we got to remember the leftists don't want to solve all the problems they're crying about. They just want to make everything worse under the guise of solving them. So what do we got here in 1793?
Well, if they solved them, they won't be hired anymore. So, 1793, the act of slavery in Upper Canada banned the importation of slaves and will be free for, and will free those who are born into slavery after passage of the act at 25 years of age.
Yes.
Right.
End slavery, yes. But yeah, so basically, if you're born into slavery, then you'll be free when you hit 25 years. But slavery is banned, so you won't be thrown into the fields or anything. But you won't really have rights or anything like that until you hit 25. So that's kind of interesting, though. This kind of reminds me about what I want to do with an Omni pass. Like at the age of 26, like then you'll have access to driving, voting, internet, all that stuff. Moving on up to 1795, financier James Swan paid off the $2,024,899 U.S. national debt, which was occurred during the Revolution. So we were talking about this the other day. The Loon brought this up actually about how.
Oh wow.
Yeah, how like we as a nation, our main pillar of reason to be created was no taxation without representation and all that stuff. Well, right after the war, immediately, if it wasn't for this guy, there would have been a tax because the war costed money that you had to pay the soldiers. And there was, a time where George Washington was really on the fence because his soldiers were already like 6 months overdue for a paycheck, essentially working for free, fighting and dying, for this idea of, American independence. Like, people just do not realize that everybody, all hands on deck. It wasn't just the founding fathers. It wasn't just anybody in any prominence or of any wealth. It was everybody, all hands on deck, to do this. And everybody was sacrificing. I really doubt if any type of call to arms is raised these days, anything like this, it would fail. Because people just do not have the wherewithal in them to stand by their own principles. It's really, really concerning. Moving on up into 1800, Mount Vernon Gardens became the first summer theater in U.S., or the site of the first summer theater. So, stage acting and all that stuff in the U.S. 1807, we have the Second Treaty of Tilsit, was signed by France, Russia, and Prussia. This ended the War of the Fourth Coalition. We were talking about this the other day, about them meeting on the raft and everything. So, but you got another Napoleon one in 1810.
1810, Napoleon annexes the King of Holland as part of the First French Empire.
Huh. Well, look at that. Holland got annexed by France.
1811, explorer David Thompson posted a sign near what is now Sacagawea State Park in Washington State, claiming the Columbian District for United Kingdom.
Hey now, them's fighting actions. You British. This kind of reminds me though. We spoke about this back at the when there was an article about the pig war that almost started another conflict between the U.S. and the U.K. over the shooting of a pig.
Yeah.
Go ahead. 1815?
1815, Charles Maurice de Talleyrand Turgot takes office as the first Prime Minister of France.
Ooh.
First.
Yeah.
Turkeys.
Yep.
And a real first, not a fake first, like, all these Hollywood actors saying that they're the first to break the stealing and all that sense.
Oh, yeah, they're just all across the board. They're just trying to, in our face, rewrite history. Like I said yesterday,
hey, there was no strong women ever before I got here. Yay, me!
Yeah, what about that lady from Alien?
Yeah,
There's no strong woman before you. What about freaking Amelia Earhart? What about Joan of Arc? What about Margaret Thatcher? You know? What about like Susan B. Anthony? You know, like people just they just grab whatever fictitious credit they can to make themselves seem kind of relevant. Yeah. I mean, like I was talking about this, yesterday. How people have been going on about how they're the first woman in the what's it called? Not the, I keep trying to say Hall of the Supreme Court. It's like no, that happened in the 70s or 80s or whatever under Reagan.
81, I believe.
Yeah. That was like yesterday or the day before. No, it wasn't yesterday.
It was the lady before Ruth.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on up into 1816, Argentina declared independence from Spain at the Congress of Tucumán. All right. 1821, 470 prominent Cypriots, including Archbishop Lypranios, were executed in response to Cypriot aid to the Greek War of Independence. 470 executed.
Yeah.
That's a mass murder right there. Like, just because of their involvement or support of a independence movement or whatever, they just get executed. Like, that's a lot. Like, yikes. Yep. 1846, Captain John B. Montgomery claimed Yerba Buena, known today as San Francisco, for the U.S. All right. 1846 as well, the territory of the District of Columbia south of the Potomac River, 39 miles squared, or about 100 kilometers squared, was returned to Virginia through an act of Congress. And that would later become the capital, District of Columbia. Potomac River, that's in the same area. And here we go. This one is really concerning. I for science, I want to try it out, but not on myself. What do we got here in 1850?
1850, U.S. President Zachary Taylor died after eating raw fruit, suspected for cherries, and ice cream. He was succeeded in office by Vice President Millard Fillmore.
Yeah.
The lamest president name ever.
Yeah. Ice milk, not ice cream. So.
Ice milk.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he ate raw fruit and ice milk, and I put in the cherries thing because I do believe it was suspected to be cherries, and I also think, hold on a second, what was his name? Zachary Taylor died. Let's see here. 1850. I'm getting other people named Zachary Taylor. But there's an art piece.
Of course.
Yeah. There's an art piece somewhere, I can't find it, of him eating the cherries and milk. So let me see if I can find this. I can't. I do know it's on the thumbnail of the video I did a couple years ago. If anybody wants to go through the archives, there is a painting that I use that as a thumbnail there, but I just can't seem to find it here. So anyway, let's move on up here to 1852. Whoa.
1852, fire destroys 1,100 construction sites in Montreal, Canada. Ooh.
Wow.
Oops.
So they were expanding exponentially. 1,100 construction sites. That is a lot of construction sites. These aren't just buildings. These are under construction. So, yikes. 1 year later, in 1853, Commodore Matthew Perry and 4 U.S. Navy vessels visited Japan to force them to open up to American trade and end their policy of isolation. And this led up into the end of the Edo period, I believe. Like the Last Samurai. I don't really know much about Japanese history specifically, but it's about the same time as the Last Samurai thing occurred, because you had all these traditionalists who wanted to stay isolated. They viewed themselves as a superior race. They want to be there in their own little bubble, but the rest of the world, they're playing in the sandbox together. It's sharing information. Whether or not they're friends or enemies doesn't matter. They're working together. And everybody was going to pass them up, and eventually Japan would be conquered if they, couldn't figure out how to play nice with the rest of the neighborhood. So, You know, by order of nature, they have to stop being isolationists, which goes directly against their culture and the majority of other cultures in Asia. So,
Yep.
yep.
But they
1860.
all hate each other.
Yeah, yeah. You know, like I've gone on about that. You know, this is why China hates Japan. Japan hates Laos. Laos hates Cambodia. Cambodia hates Vietnam. Vietnam hates Korea.
Yeah.
Like they all hate each other. They all view each
Yeah.
other as like the superior being over each other. Like so
Yeah.
like that's why Japan did to China what they
Don't
did in World War
confuse
II.
one for the other, or you're gonna get an earful.
Yeah. 1860, a temperature hit 115 degrees Fahrenheit in Fort Scott and 112 degrees in Topeka, Kansas. And that reminds me of a scene from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Let's see, increase the volume here.
Soon you can expect shower, and it's hot in Topeka.
It's hot in Topeka. It's hot, 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 hot.
Yeah, it's hot in Topeka. 1863, Confederate General John Hunt Morgan began Morgan's Raid. His cavalry aided into Indiana by leading 2,100 men across the Ohio River. That's a lot of men. We got another 1863 for you, good Sir King.
1863, Confederate General John Hunt Morgan begins Morgan's Raid. His cavalry aid into Indiana by leading 2,100 men across the Ohio River.
Yep.
Yeah. So very good.
Civil War stuff. We got some more Civil War in here.
1863, Union troops enter Fort Hudson, Louisiana, gaining control of the Mississippi River. American Civil War, the siege of Fort Hudson ended the Union victory, and along with the fall of Vicksburg 5 days earlier, gave the Union complete control of the Mississippi River.
Uh-oh. Bad news for the Confederates. Yep.
1867, an unsuccessful expedition led by E.D. Young sets out to search for Dr. David Livingstone, Scottish missionary and explorer.
And he does eventually find him, I believe. I think it was a happenstance. But you've heard the words Dr. Livingstone, I presume?
Yeah.
Yep. That's where it comes from.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And you want to take these two 68s?
1868, first black U.S. citizen, cabinet member in South Carolina, Francis L. Cardozo, as Secretary of State.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice. That's about 100 years before the Civil Rights Movement. Very nice. Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Really crazy.
Yeah.
Good for him. Must have been a hell of a leader.
Yeah. Hey, when you have the credentials, it doesn't matter what your skin color is, what bathroom you go to. Doesn't matter, anything as long as you do a good job. That's all that matters.
Yeah, doesn't this kind of prove that? Like, in stone?
Yeah.
This was before...
The proof is in the pudding, And I don't care if the pudding is chocolate, vanilla, caramel, or banana, or Cinnabon, like, whatever. All pudding's delicious. I don't care.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
It's like they're lying to us about history.
But what else do we got here? Another anti-slavery thing. Great stuff here.
1868, Louisiana and South Carolina are the last states to ratify the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution, guaranteeing civil rights, guarantees blacks full citizenship, and all persons in the United States due process of law.
I'm going to put a cheer out there for that. Yes. And I am so behind on the main source, I got to catch up here. Moving on up into 1872, a donut cutter patent granted to John Blondell Thompson Thomaston, Maine. That's a weird name for a town.
Sure.
Donut cutter. I can go for a donut right now. That sounds delicious. Moving on up to 1875, the Herzegovina uprising against Ottoman rule began, which would last until 1878 and have far-reaching implications throughout the Balkans. Huh. All right. And in 1877, we have the first ever Wimbledon's championship began. It was a men's singles only, the first official lawn tennis tournament. I read that kind of in a weird order, but yeah, happy birthday, Wimbledon. 1 year later, U.S. inventor Henry Tibb patented an improved corncob pipe design. Huh. All right. And I had a corncob pipe. I'm not sure if I threw it away or because it got broken somehow a long time ago. I had a Douglas MacArthur pipe. I showed it on. I showed my picture on the show a couple of days ago or so.
Oh yeah, I see it. I see it.
Yeah. 1893, Daniel Hale Williams repaired the torn pericardium of a knife wound patient, James Cornish, without penicillin or blood transfusion. This was the first successful open heart surgery in the United States without anesthesia. Or anesthesia.
There you go.
Yeah. Yikes, dude! It must have been a life and death, situation, or life or death.
Okay.
So, hey, would you rather go through a lot of pain or just die? So the first successful open heart surgery in the U.S. without anesthesia, that is. So, moving on up into the 1900s, what do we got here? This is what I was talking about earlier.
1900, the Commonwealth of Australia is established by the British House of Commons, given royal consent.
All right. So, but this is not the birthday of Australia proper. That would be Australia Day, and that's actually in January. I did a little bit of pre-research yesterday because I was going to say Happy Birthday Australia because this is when it's recognized as a Commonwealth, but it's still under the British Crown and therefore not really fully and completely and totally independent. But I guess Happy Conception Day. I guess
Yeah.
So. You got another one here in 1900. This kind of, enforces what we said about Asian cultures earlier. So.
1910, yeah. Walter Brookins flying a Wright biplane over the lake.
You missed one. It's 1900, the one before that.
Oh, 1900. The governor of Shaanxi, province of North China, ordered the execution of 45 foreign Christian missionaries and local church members, including children.
Yeah, just straight up. Oh, anyone not us, kill him.
Yeah.
You want to talk about, a xenophobic culture, look no more than the East. And if anybody wants to sit there and accuse me of being xenophobic, you know what? I'm not, because, I hope I've demonstrated, that I'm an equal opportunity person, but right here we have it right down, in writing, the Chinese killing anyone who's not Chinese. I mean, hell, they'll kill even their own people. Look at the Falun Gong practitioners. Look at the Tibetans. Look at the Uyghurs.
Yeah.
God, you want to talk about a people full of hate? Yikes. Well, let's move on up to 1910. Here we go.
1910, Walter Brookins flying the Wright biplane over Atlantic City, New Jersey, became the first to fly an airplane to an altitude of 1 mile, actually reaching 6,175 feet. Thanks.
Yeah. Which is 1.169 miles. So, man, he could have been the first to join the Mile High Club. Yeah. 1914, we have the first U.S. duplicate auction bridge championship held, Lake Placid, New York. Well, what the heck is duplicate auction bridge championship? What even is that? Some kind of card? I know bridge is a card game of some sort, but duplicate bridge. Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. It is a variation of contract bridge where the same set of bridge deals, like the distribution of 52 cards among 4 hands, are played by different competitors, and scoring is based on relative performance. In this way, every hand, whether strong or weak, is played in competition with others playing identical cards, and the element of skill is heightened while that of chance is reduced. This stands in contrast to bridge, played without duplication, where each hand is freshly dealt and where scores may be more affected by chance in the short run. So it's more of a skill than by chance game. And French deck, whatever that is. Does a French card deck have different denominations? Actually, yeah. Actually, no. How many cards are in a deck? I thought it was 60.
52.
What?
52.
In this one, yes. How many cards in a standard deck?
Yeah, 52.
I think you are right. Yeah, 52. Yeah, you're right.
I know I'm right.
Okay.
I play poker all the time.
Okay. You would know. Okay, so this is the first of that. Moving on up to 1914, Boston Red Sox purchased future Baseball
What?
Hall of Fame slugger Babe Ruth's contract from minor league Baltimore Orioles. All right. 1915, Germany surrendered Southwest Africa to the Union of South Africa. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. 1916, the first cargo submarine to cross the Atlantic arrived in the U.S. from Germany. Of course, Germans and their submarines. So. And what do we got here in 1917?
1917, British battleship HMS Vanguard explodes at Scapa Flow. The result of an internal explosion of faulty todate, killing 804 people. Oof.
Yikes, crew members, yeah. Well, I mean, the whole ship blew up. All hands on deck, people were there. So,
Yeah.
probably not all hands on deck, but, whoever was maintaining the thing. Battleships are huge. Easily several thousand people could be on those things. Oh, and here we go. Another tragedy.
1918, 101 killed and 171 injured in the worst U.S. train wreck. Nashville, Tennessee. In Nashville, Tennessee, an inbound local train collided with an outbound express, killing 101 and injuring 171 people, making it the deadliest rail accident in United States history.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. Let's never defeat that record. Let's not even try. Like, that's awful. What do we got here in 1918?
U.S. Congress creates Distinguished Service Medal, not to be confused with the other countries' decorations of the same logo.
All right. Now let's take a look. What does this Distinguished Service Medal even look like? Let's see.
Is it distinguished? It better be distinguished, or I'm gonna be bad.
Yeah. Let's see here. VUS. Huh. The ribbon is kind of blasé, but let's see. Open image in new tab. Can I get a bigger image of this? Thank you. All right. Okay, that's a cool looking medal. Well, yeah. Moving on up into 1922, Johnny Weissmuller swam the 100 meter freestyle in 58.6 seconds, breaking the world swimming record and the minute barrier. Yep. If it was only the swimming record, I wouldn't care, but because this record has to have been beaten by now. But the minute barrier is the big one right there. Like, the first time they swam the 100 meters in under a minute. That's the impressive part right there. 1926, Chiang Kai-shek was appointed to the National Revolutionary Supreme Commander in China. And from another source here, we have Chiang Kai-shek accepted the post of Commander-in-Chief of the National Revolutionary Army, marking the beginning of the Northern Expedition to unite China under the rule of the nationalist government. At the same time, Mao Zedong was leading his People's Uprising, Communist China, and all that stuff, and ultimately, the U.S. would not support either side, really, and would force Chiang Kai-shek and his allies to flee to Taiwan. And to this day, China is still trying to kill the rest of all these people's descendants. They're bloodthirsty. What was I saying earlier about about all this stuff? They just want to kill. So, 1932, the state of Sao Paulo revolts against the Brazilian federal government, starting the constitutionalist revolution. All right. 1932. Why don't you take this, King? Because you have a strong opinion about these.
1932, the state of Sao Paulo revolts against the Brazilian federal government, starting the constitutional revolution.
Okay. I was talking about the next one.
Oh, Washington Redskins, then Boston Braves formed.
Yeah. Well, you got some more sports stuff here.
1933, Philadelphia-based NFL team, Frank Ford Yellow Jackets, sold, rebranded Philadelphia Eagles. That's up.
All right. So some Eagles history to anybody watching who's an Eagles fan by any chance. So, and here we go. Something not so nice.
1934, SS Reichswehr Union takes command of German concentration camps.
Yeah, the real guy behind the Holocaust. It wasn't Hitler.
Real guy.
Yeah. Hitler just wanted to, he did want to get the Jews out of Europe, not by killing them, but by sending them to Madagascar or whatever, which is why I say the existence of Israel only makes Hitler win. But, Himmler is the real brains behind, the death camps and all that stuff. He was the awful one. Well, they both were awful, but he's the real guy behind that, so. Moving on up into 1937, the silent film archives of Fox Film Corporation were destroyed by the 1937 Fox Vault fire. That is a national tragedy, international tragedy. Like, all those silent films, gone and lost forever. And, it's the same thing like the very first episodes of I think it was like the Johnny Carson show or like the Tonight Show or whatever. Like the very first several dozen or so were taped over, gone, lost forever. Yeah, because due to financial constraints and all that stuff, they didn't want to. They were being cheap and didn't want to buy more tapes, so they just recorded over, the previous recordings, and stupid, absolutely stupid. 1939, a meeting of 6,000 Indians. I wasn't sure what kind of Indians they were. Native Americans are actual Indian, but these are Indian Indians. Held at the Indian Sports Ground in Johannesburg, South Africa, launched the passive resistance campaign against apartheid and racial policy in South Africa. And I do believe Mahatma Gandhi, was involved in this. Because, he was Indian and he was all about this. And I believe he actually did some stuff in Africa, especially against apartheid. 1 year later, 1940, German Evangelist Church protests against euthanasia pogroms. All right. And pogroms are specifically things against Jews. Yeah. Well, let me look up the actual definition, because it's not Jew only, but it is focused on that. So a pogrom is a violent riot incited with the aim of massacring or expelling an ethnic or a religious group, particularly Jews. So it's not all about Jews, but most likely about them. The term entered the English language from Russian to describe 19th and 20th century attacks on Jews in the Russian Empire, mostly with the Pale of Settlement. Retrospectively, similar attacks against Jews, which occurred in other times and places, also became known as pogroms. So this was Germans in 1940. Keep in mind, everybody thinks about 1930s, 1940s Germany, as evil and everything. It's not the people, it's the government. But at the same time, if the people don't do anything, then they're compliant. Well, here we have an example of non-compliancy. So, when are we going to see the Chinese, be non-compliant with all the stuff that they're going on today? So, yeah. When are we going to see the U.S., the U.S. population do something, against the people that govern us? Only a matter of time. 1941, Dutch-American physicist Abraham Pace was awarded his PhD in Holland 5 days before a Nazi deadline banning Jews from receiving degrees. You lucky so-and-so. 5 days before. Can you talk about just under the gun, man? Like,
Right.
I hope he got out of there. I hope he didn't get scooped up into some kind of camp or something. But what do we got here in 1943 off of main source?
World War II. The Allied invasion of Sicily began, leading into the downfall of Mussolini and forcing Hitler to break off the Battle of Kursk.
Now, I had no idea he had to break off the Battle of Kursk, but it makes sense. We've been talking about Kursk for the past couple of days and whatnot, and that was a typo, by the way. It's Sicily, not Civily.
Oh.
Yeah, like we spoke about this the other day, the invasionary force of 96 ships or something heading to Sicily. We saw a little bit of that from the movie we saw a week or so ago, Patton, when they invaded Sicily, took over Palermo and all that stuff. He's like, oh, do you want me to give him back? Because, Montgomery was all butthurt that he didn't get the glory. So, we got some more World War II type of situation happening here in 44.
1944, in World War II, U.S. troops secured safety?
Saipan.
Damn it. I should know that. Saipan as Japan falls. World War II, U.S. forces took Saipan, bringing the Japanese Archipelago within range of B-29 raids and causing the downfall of the Tojo government.
Yep. Yeah, Archipelago, by the way. It's
Archipelago.
But there's one here before that that we skipped over, involving Finland.
1944, World War II continuation war. Finland won the Battle of Talantala, the largest battle ever fought in Northern Europe. The Red Army withdrew its troops from Talantala and dug into the defensive position, thus ending the Vyborg Tozabadis offensive.
Yeah.
Ooh!
Yeah. Good job. Excellent work there, man. I could not have done it better myself. Seriously. A lot of these words, dude, they're hard.
I'm getting to it.
Yeah. We're not European enough. But yeah, no, Finland, was fighting their own war against the USSR while World War II was happening. And that's why Finland actually was on the Axis side, not because of, like-minded beliefs, but just because of protection. If they weren't allied with Germany, they would have just been steamrolled by the Soviet Union. And Finland was used as a belligerent to keep, X amount of forces of the Soviets occupied while Hitler invaded, the Ruskies during Operation Barbarossa. Moving on up to 1947, Spain voted for the Franco monarchy. And this was in our main source, and it's not now, so they got rid of it. That's interesting. But yeah, Francisco Franco, a fascist, Spain was having their own civil war just before the outbreak of World War II and all that stuff. 1948, Satchel Paige at the age of 42 debuted in majors, pitching 2 scoreless innings for Cleveland and St. Louis. All right. Satchel Paige, we gave him big kudos last show. 1950, we have 13.15 inches or 33.40 centimeters of rainfall in York, Nebraska. It is a state 24-hour record, which I'm not sure if it's been broken. But yeah, that's a lot of rain. Over a foot of rain in 24 hours.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Flood weather.
Yeah, but what was that one crazy one like an inch of rain in a second or something, or what it was a couple days ago? You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
Like a literal, just like an ocean dumped on you. It's not raining. It's there. Like all of a sudden, water. Like 1951, U.S. President Harry Truman asked Congress to formally end a state of war with Germany, which is really interesting because the war ended in 45. Yes. Yeah. So, but this is once again another example of us technically still being at war. We spoke about this the other day about the U.S. still being technically in a state of war with Germany as far into time as 1922. But here we go again. That was 4 years. Now we're talking about 6. What the hell is wrong with us? What takes us so long to get out of war? Well, we are a warmongering nation. That is for sure. We are today, at least.
Is it money?
Yeah,
Is the answer money?
There you go. What else do we got here? 1953.
1953, the first helicopter passenger service in New York City.
All right.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, whirlybirds. Got another 53 here.
1953, Phillies Robin Roberts ends streak of 28 consecutive complete games.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. And here we go. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock rock.
1955, Bill Haley and his Comets rock around clock tops the Billboard charts on the best-selling singles ever.
Yeah. Gonna rock around the clock tonight. So that's also that's the intro song for Happy Days, right?
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's
It
Sunday,
sounds
Monday,
like
Happy Day. Who used Rock Around the Clock? Hold on a second. What show used Rock Around the Clock? I know a show used that. What TV show used Rock Around the Clock? It was just telling me about the album. Bill Haley. Huh. Maybe I am getting it confused with Happy Days because Sunday, Monday, Happy Days, Tuesday.
It sounds a lot like.
Yeah, a little bit of the same beat. Anyway, moving on up to 1955, E. Frederick Morrow was the first black U.S. citizen executive on U.S. White House staff. Nice. Very nice. Just at the very beginning, I think, of the Civil Rights Movement. So, I hope he wasn't a DEI hire. That would be very, disheartening. We also have the Russell-Einstein Manifesto was released by Bertrand Russell in London on the need to avoid nuclear war. Yes, Albert Einstein, was involved in that. They knew the dangers, of how us stupid people, now we have the bomb and, just using it as some kind of threat, to get whatever we want and all that stuff. So,
bunch of monkeys fiddle with now we can destroy the world.
Yep. 1956, Dick Clark's first appearance as host of American Bandstand. Nice. And by the way, going back to what you said about destroying the world, I strongly advise people to go watch the movie Oppenheimer. Like, that is a really good movie.
Yes. Agree.
1957, discovery of element 102 nobelium was announced by international team at Nobel Institute of Physics in Stockholm, named after Alfred Nobel. All right. That's pretty cool. So I had no idea he had two things named after him. Obviously the Nobel Prize, Nobel Peace Prize, and nobelium. So now he has an element named after him. That's really cool.
Oh, he has a... I'm sorry, I missed that element word.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, element 102, nobelium. And what do we got here in 1958? Yikes.
1958, giant splash caused by fall of 90 million ton of rock and ice into ThEoD, Alaska, washes 1,800 feet up the mountain.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, see, like this, the existence of this just completely disproves all of these environmentalist nut jobs. It's like, oh, look at this glacier falling off. It's like, well, we have examples of this stuff happening in 1958. Where's your environmentalist argument for that? They're just liars. It's all about power and control.
Climate changes naturally. I mean,
yeah.
All you have to do is look at fossil record, and it's like a heartbeat. And every now and then it goes, really below when we have a mini ice age or an ice age, and sometimes it goes, really high.
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
Generally, it's like a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Up and down, up and down, up and down.
I'm trying to find a specific meme that I saved, and I can't seem to find it. I'm not sure if I saved it, but I'm pretty sure I posted it. So, like, why don't you take 1961, the off of main source here, while I look for this on Discord really quick.
1961, Greece became the first member state to join the European Economic Community by signing the Athens Agreement, which was suspended in 1967 during the Greek junta.
Greek junta. It's a type of politic. Let me look that up here really quick. What is a junta? Military junta. It is a government led by a committee of military leaders. The term junta means meeting or committee and originated in the national and local junta organized by the Spanish resistance to Napoleon's invasion of Spain in 1808. So it's basically a military dictatorship, essentially. But I'm still trying to find this one meme. I can't find it. Like, I have a feeling that the system is going in and getting rid of it, essentially it's a photo of the ancient Roman like salt baths, and it's still at sea level after thousands of years. Like, how could something built at sea level thousands of years ago still be at sea level if the environmentalists are right? Obviously, they're not right. So, here we go. This is an interesting name to a nuclear event in 1962.
1962, Andy Warhol's first West Coast gallery exhibit. Oh, sorry. 1962, starfish crime tested and the effects of a nuclear test at orbital altitude.
Yep. Oof. So to see what will happen if somebody detonates a nuclear device in the atmosphere, they detonated a nuclear device in the atmosphere. Okay. Can you say fallout? Can you say, radiation poisoning? Can you say public disaster? I mean, what more can you figure out from a nuclear explosion? It makes a big boom and it causes poison. Okay. But now you get to talk about Andy Warhol.
1962, Andy Warhol's first West Coast gallery exhibit in the Paris Gallery of Los Angeles.
All right. And I loved it in, what was it, Men in Black 3, where they went back in time. Is that the one?
Oh, yeah. It's played by Will Arnett.
Yeah. Yeah, and Andy Warhol turned out to be an alien.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Hey, you get some basketball here.
1968, Wilt Chamberlain became the first reigning NBA MVP to be traded the next season when he moves from Philadelphia's 76ers to the LA Lakers.
All right. And it just came to me. I think I know why the 76ers are called such. Philadelphia, 1776.
Ah.
Yeah, I just thought of that. Like, I have a feeling that's correlation is why they're called that. So, and actually, let's see if I can read this in his voice. 1971, Henry Kissinger visits the Public Republic of China to negotiate a detente between the U.S. and China. So let me read that in a normal human voice. 1971, Henry Kissinger visited the People's Republic of China to negotiate a detente between the U.S. and China. So this guy is a war criminal, Kissinger. Like, I don't know the exact semantics, but you know he's up in the hoity-toities, rubbing shoulders with the bourgeois. So you know he's part of the problem. 1972, we have the first tour by Paul McCartney and Wings of France, and Wings in France. Paul McCartney and Wings, that was his band back then. In 1972 as well, Kwame Nkrumah was reburied in Nkrumah in his native Ghana. Cool. And he was the first president of Ghana, so, you know, he should be, you know, there. So, yep. Always with his people. Awesome. You know, the people that he governed. So, 1972 as well, Spring Hill Massacre. British snipers shot dead 5 Catholic civilians and wounded 2 others in Spring Hill, Belfast. Yikes. Anyone who says that there's not a war on Christianity is completely ignorant to reality. Off of main source here in 1972, Wimbledon's men's tennis. U.S. Stan Smith defeated Ili Natasi of Romania 4-6, 6-3, 6-3, 4-6, 7-5 for his only Wimbledon title. That's a lot of rounds right there. It's 5 rounds. But what do we got here? 75.
75, the National Assembly of Senegal passes a law that paves the way for a multi-party system.
Albeit highly restricted. Yes. So, with a lot of restrictions, you have multi-party system. So, I don't know about that. Oh, here we go.
That was dubious. 1976, Uganda asked UN to condemn Israel hostage rescue raid on Entebbe. It does not.
Oh yeah, of course, because the UN is Israel's little lapdogs.
Yeah.
So, yep. Let's not forget about Mossad, the Israel Secret Intelligence Service. What does that spell out? ISIS. And who is ISIS never attacked in that whole region? They've attacked everyone else, but not one place, because you don't bite the hand that feeds you. Just saying, just thinking, dude. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little weird. So.
1977, the PicoNet dictatorship in Chile organized the youth event of Acto de Charcalis, a ritualized act reminiscent of the Fanosis. I'm probably sounds so wrong. Fanosis, Spain. How you say it?
It's supposed to be Francosist. I forgot to put in the R. Francosist, Spain. Like, you know, Francisco Franco. We spoke about him earlier. Being the leader of the Spanish Revolutionary Forces, you know, during their civil war, right before World War II. And yeah, I see something, you know, a youth event. Whenever a government does anything involving youth, then you gotta look at that cross-eyed, you know, well, side-eyed or whatever, because, you know, why are they getting the youth involved? Are they brainwashing them? You know, what's the difference between the Boy Scouts and the Hitler Youth? Absolutely nothing. When you really think about it. They both did the same thing. They both teach children how to salute. They both teach children what to say. They both teach children this, teach children that. It's all about indoctrination, you know? And the Boy Scouts of America actually, like, stem from the Boy Scouts of the British. It originated in Britain, you know? So here we go again, you know, another, you know, and this is, you know, Francoist Spain. Francisco Franco, you know, was an ally of Hitler. Just saying. Oh, here we go. 1978, American Nazi Party held a rally at Marquette Park in Chicago. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was, and probably still is, well, actually, yeah, of course there still is a Nazi Party. It's called the Democrats. So.
Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah, and very strong.
Party switch.
Yeah. I mean, like, like what party was the one that created the Klan? To suppress blacks from voting? Wasn't the Republicans. So, 1978, nearly 100,000 demonstrators marched on Washington, D.C. for ERA. What is
Republicans?
ERA? What the heck is ERA? So let me just look up the entire... Oh, Equal Rights Amendment. Okay. So ERA. Equal Rights Amendment. Okay. So, yeah, I'm all for that. What do we got here in 1979?
1979, Voyager 2 flies past Jupiter.
Huh. But you missed one.
Did I? Oh, no, another 1979, a car bomb destroys a Renault owned by famed Nazi hunters, Sergei and Dmitry Pelarsfield, at their home in France, and note purportedly from Odessa claims responsibility.
So these are people going after people who are anti-Nazi. So that's not right. What are they doing blowing up Nazi hunters' vehicles? You're disabling them from doing what they're trying to do, is to clean the world up. Yikes.
Desympathizers. Huh?
Yeah.
1979, Voyager 2 flies past Jupiter. I already said that. Yeah. 1980, 7 die in a stampede to see Pope John II in Brazil. Ooh.
Yikes. I mean, patience, you will see him. I guess those 7 people got to skip seeing the voice of God and got to see God himself, So
I'm gonna help in a murder. How many people, everybody that stepped on those people helped in a murder to go see
the Almighty,
the King of Christianity,
the King of Kings, yeah. You got another 1980 here.
1980, Dutch war criminal Pierre Minten sentenced to 10 years.
Yeah. That doesn't seem like enough time for being a war criminal. 10 years? I don't know. Anyway, moving on up into 1981, the Jacksons, I believe, the Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson and his family, began a 36-city tour.
Nice.
That sounds about right. And why don't you take this other 81 here? This is, you're more of a gamer.
1981, the year I was born in, Nintendo releases arcade game Donkey Kong, created by Shigeru Miyamoto in Japan, July 31st in the U.S.
Come on, man, dude, you butchered that name.
I did.
All gamers should know Miyamoto. All gamers. Miyamoto. That should just be in your, top 50 words of vocabulary. So, 1982, Michael Fergan broke into Buckingham Palace and entered the Queen's bedroom in Buckingham Palace, London. Whoops. I remember reading about that. Yeah, I think he just came in through an open window or something. I don't know. But while that was happening, Pan Am Boeing 727 crashed in a storm in Kenner, Louisiana, shortly after takeoff, killing 153. All 145 on board, with 8 others on the ground, to split off, total of deaths there. 1984, 12th century York Minster damaged in lightning storm. Minster. 12th century York Minster. What the heck is a York Minster? Let's see here. Let me just look up the entire article here in image search. Okay, so it's like some kind of church. So I believe, yeah, this is definitely the photo here. It's a small photo. Trying to find a bigger one, but it shows the damage. So it looks like the ceiling. Yeah, the ceiling did collapse right there. Oh, so a minster. That's what it is. An outcropping of a cathedral. You see what I'm looking at? It's very small, but the roof is missing from one of these jutting out areas from the central tower here. Oh, here's a picture of it on fire, it looks like. So,
Oh, what?
wow. Moving up to 1985, Colombian drug trafficker Griselda Blanco convicted in New York of manufacturing, smuggling, and distributing cocaine and sentenced to 15 years. All right. Well, yikes. So, don't do that. Leave the cocaine distribution to the professionals like the CIA. They work hand in hand with the cartels, and that's a fact. What do we got here in 1986?
1986, Atlanta's Dale Murphy doesn't play, ending consecutive streak at 740.
Wow. Like, I mean, that's an impressive streak. Like, blows anything I've done out of the water. You know, I've tried to do shows on consecutive and stuff, but I don't think he does games every single day, though. So, but he does do practice. Or he did, at least. Oh, here we go. You know, this has some blame video games on everything energy here. Another 86.
Attorney General commissions on pornography linked hardcore porn to sex. What?
Sex crimes. So it's linking. So it's basically saying if you enjoy hardcore porn, you have a higher possibility to go and do a sex crime. Which does make some sense. Because, like, you know, if you have some extreme kinks out there and you can't find a partner to share your enjoyment with, then you're going to go out there and snuggle some people, you know? So, and at the same time, there is some... That. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man.
You know, what's it called? The trial, you know, where they conduct actual studies with... I don't know. Let's move on.
Yeah.
1986, Columbia Records releases The Bridge singer-songwriter Billy Joel's 10th studio album.
All right.
Yeah, Billy Joel. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. And this initially raised an eyebrow, but it does make sense as to why they lowered the voting age to 16 in New Zealand. Because I think the age of consent is 16 in New Zealand. I know it's like 12 or 13 in Japan. Absolutely disgusting. So, what do we got here in 86?
1986, the New Zealand Parliament passes the Homosexual Law Reform Bill, legalizing consensual sex between men aged 16 and older.
I don't like this. I mean, it's a different country, it's a different culture, you know. And as I've said before, you know, the whole concept of childhood, you know, is barely even a century old. But, I mean, New Zealand, you know, with their 16-year thing, like, I really don't support that at all. Like, another culture, man. I don't know. Anyway, 1987, the year I was born, 1 million South Koreans demonstrated against Chun Doo-hwan regime. That's a lot. Huh. And 1987, Colonel Oliver North admitted to shredding Iran-Contra evidence. Uh-oh. I hope he got the book thrown at him. I don't really know much about what happened during that whole debacle. The Iran-Contra affair and all that stuff. But, yeah, I don't think it ended well for Oliver North.
No.
Good.
Well, didn't he become a sports cat and some kind of caster? They hired him somewhere.
What?
I'm pretty sure he ended up becoming
oh my God.
A desk jockey, you know.
North has returned to politics and taken up a career as a commentator with Radio America show and a series on Fox News, War Stories with Oliver North. You're right. Wow, what the hell?
Yeah. Don't you remember the song? Come on.
I know about the I don't know all the lyrics in the song from American Dad, but
oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I remember. It's like, yeah. And then as on Fox News.
And Ollie North song. I gotta watch that after the show here. Olive North. Oh my God.
Yeah, and now he's on Fox News.
Of course he's
That's
on
how it
Fox
ends.
News. Fox News, owned and operated by a raging liberalist, family. Rupert Murdoch.
Wait. They're all owned by the same people, even Fox?
Oh yeah, Fox. Yeah. Oh, you're asking a
What?
question.
Explain to the audience. I'm playing the dumb guy.
You almost had me there. 1988. Let's see. Chris Spear hit for the cycle, and Ernst Rise hit his 10,000th giant home run. Awesome. And Nolan Ryan won his 7th to win 100 game on 2 teams as Astro defeated the Mets in 6-3. All right. What do we got here in 89?
There you go. 2 bombs explode in Mecca, killing 1 pilgrim and wounding 16 others.
That's not good. And by pilgrim, they're not talking about, the pilgrims from Thanksgiving with the belt buckle hats and all that stuff. No, they're talking about Hajis. Pilgrims doing the Hajj, pilgriming from wherever they are to, to Mecca. So, yeah. We've spoken about a lot of various disasters at Mecca, which is in Saudi Arabia. From it, suicide bombings to gun, people opening up fire to people getting trampled, all sorts of events happening, involving Mecca. People just get way too swept up in religion and they don't have any patience. Kind of like the example earlier we had about those 7 people getting trampled trying to see the Pope in Brazil or whatever.
Yeah, right? Killed 7 people. Come on.
Yeah. We got some more Wimbledon here.
New Zealand. Can you spell? I'm looking at your screen.
No,
Can
not
you
this
spell
one.
down?
It's off of main source from the. You have the actual script, right?
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, off of main source.
What?
1989. Look for the exclamation points.
Wimbledon's men's tennis Boris Becker of Germany beats Sweden's Stefan Edberg 6-0, 7-6, 6-4 for his 3rd and last Wimbledon title.
All right.
1991, South Africa readmitted to the Olympics.
Yep.
Why were they omitted?
Because apartheid. They got rid of it, and they were finally.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And another off of main source here.
In 1993, the Parliament of Canada passed the Nunavut Act, leading to the 1999 of Nunavut, dividing the Northwest Territories into Arctic, Inuit, and subarctic Dene lands based on the Pacific
Plebiscite.
Plebiscite. What's a plebiscite? Man, thank you.
Yeah.
What is a plebiscite?
Oh, it's a referendum. Okay.
Now,
It is a direct vote by the electorate on a proposal, law, or political issue. Okay.
Of course.
All right. Ooh.
1994, 1100th home run for the Yankees history. Matt knows.
I think you misplaced a 0. It's the 11,000th, not the 1100th.
11,000.
Yeah.
11,000.
Yeah. Oh damn! 11,000 home runs. I didn't even know that there were that many home runs in all of history, let alone for one team. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Congratulations. Moving on up into. Go ahead.
Okay. 1995, former South African president FWD Klerk is implicated of knowing and condemning a dirty tricks campaign that was waged against ANC between 1990 and 1994 election in a bid to destabilize the organization.
Yep. Knowing and condoning, not condemning. FWD Klerk was a strong proponent in apartheid. Actually, was it? No, wait. Hold on a second. Senator Clerk, Parliament. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. This is the other guy. I keep getting him confused with P.W. Botha. Damn it. No, F.W. Clerk is against apartheid. But he was, but this is ANC, the African National Convention. So they're trying to blame him for apartheid, but he was against it.
He was implicated in knowing and condoning dirty tricks campaign.
Huh.
Did he get into power? I mean, these are two separate things.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking? He could be against it and still did a dirty trick campaign.
Yeah, he could. Well, it says here, after being elected president later that year, de Klerk indicated in a famous speech to Parliament that he favored dismantling apartheid. He released political prisoners such as Nelson Mandela and removed the ban on ANC. But that is in direct contradiction to this article here. What the hell?
Is this, like, propaganda?
Are they confusing him with P.W. Botha? Are they trying to erase from history a white person standing up for the rights of blacks? Because right here, in 1992, he won a white referendum to continue his reforms and negotiated with Mandela and the ANC, resulting in South Africa's first free election. So maybe he did dirty tricks to ensure that Africans, got rights.
Mm-hmm.
Might be. I don't know.
Because that would destabilize the country, but they're wording it way incorrect.
Yeah, that is an eyebrow raiser right there for sure. So.
Because it did destabilize them.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, apartheid had been around for like 80 some odd years. Like, it was around since the early 1900s. So, huh.
But yeah, they worded it to make it look bad.
Yeah.
So people just.
Yeah, because
people who don't just dissect it like me and you just did would just take it wrong.
Yeah, well, like most people don't really know, that there's a difference between F.W. de Klerk and P.W. Botha. Like they both have initials. They're both white guys. They're both, balding white guys. The only difference is one is wearing glasses, and the guy who wears glasses was a strong supporter of apartheid, while this other guy was a strong opponent of it. So, anyway, let's move on up here. 1995 as well. Jerry Garcia's unexpectedly final concert with the Grateful Dead at Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. Chicago. So, his unintentional last concert there. The Grateful Dead. Very well-known band there. While that was happening as well, U.S. international postage rise to 60 cents per ounce. All right. Wimbledon men's tennis. U.S. Pete Sampras won his third straight Wimbledon title, defeating Boris Becker of Germany 6-7, 6-2, 6-4, 6-2. And we also have the Navali church bombing was carried out by the Sri Lanka Air Force, murdering 124 Tamil civilian refugees. What? Sri Lanka, get your act together, guys. What are they doing murdering civilians? Like they're bombing church. Like, wow. Talk about being the inspiration for Obama right there. Let's not forget, Obama bombed a wedding. Don't forget that. And he bombed children's hospitals, too.
Yeah.
So.
That's why he called them Obama.
Obama. Yeah.
Obama.
Yep. 1996, the U.S. Senate approved 90-cent raise to $4.25 minimum wage, national minimum wage, average. So, yeah. But what do we got here in 97? Some sports.
1997, baseball triple American Association formed in 1902 votes to disband.
Oh man, so the end.
Another 1997, a Fokker 100 from the Brazilian airline TAM launched engineer Fernando Dalleria del Moria Campos into 2,400 meters of free fall after the explosion that depressurized the aircraft. Oof.
What the hell? So something happened in the aircraft and it jettisoned him out for a 2,400 meter free fall.
Yeah.
Or no. No. The aircraft free fell. He didn't fall out of the air. The aircraft itself free fell when it got depressurized. Like, I love my little note here. Sounds like a Call of Duty mission.
Right.
Oh, here we go. A movie for the
1999 coming-of-age film American Pie is released. Directed by Paul Waits, starring Jason Biggs, Eugene Levy, and an assembled cast.
Man, dude,
Great.
his glass frames look like they're made of Vanta Black. Like
All right.
that picture right there, yeah.
They're thick.
And that's a movie I've never seen, and I really don't want to see, honestly. Like, I personally find the premise vile, you know. Intercourse with a pastry. Are you kidding me? You know, now the pie is ruined. You know, like, why would anyone do that? You have good old Lefty. You know, come on.
If someone tells you, he asks what it feels like, and he says it feels like a nice warm apple pie.
Yeah, and then he goes and he fornicates with a nice warm apple pie, and this guy walks in on him. And then they have the talk. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a little late to have the talk when your son is fucking a pie. Okay? Like, you know what? That's going in quotes right now. Hold on, I need to add that in. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it's too late for the talk when you walk in on your son fucking apple pie. End quote. Me. Alright.
End quote. Me.
Oh, man. Moving on up into the year 2000, police fired tear gas at fans during a World Cup qualifying soccer game between Zimbabwe and South Africa, setting off a stampede that killed 12 people in Harare, Zimbabwe. Yikes. What was going on? I mean, like, you know, I understand soccer hooligans and all that stuff. So, like, you know, these football people can get rather rowdy. But, inciting a stampede that results in the death of 12 people is non-excusable. So, that's wild. 2001, The Office, a mockumentary created by Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, starring Ricky Gervais and Martin Freeman, premiered on BBC Two in the UK. And yes, like, you know, we all know about, you know, the sitcom Office, but it has a British, once again, another, you know, American staple having a British, you know, foundation. 2001 as well, Wimbledon's men's tennis, three-time runner-up Goran Ivanisevic won his lone major title, defeating Patrick Rafter of Australia 6-3, 3-6, 6-3, 2-6, 9-7. All right. And pardon me, what do we got here in 2002?
The African Union is established in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The first chairman is Thabo Mbeki, president of South Africa, replaced the Organization of Africa Unity. OAU.
Yeah. All right.
2004, the Senate report in Iraq WMD intelligence was released by the United States Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, casting doubt on the
Tationel
or Iraq war.
Huh. By the way, was my mic muted when I sneezed?
Yes.
Thank God. Okay. What is this? Huh. So rationale.
2006, at least
Oh,
122 people killed in a Yesteryear Airlines Airbus A310 passenger jet carrying 200 passengers veers off a runway while landing at Irkutsk Airport in Siberia in wet conditions. Yikes.
yikes. That's not good. But yeah, no. Going back to the 2004 one, rationale. That was a typo. So causing doubt on the rationale of the Iraq War. So the beginning of people figuring out that that there were no WMDs, that all of it was just a lie, that it makes no sense. Osama bin Laden, who was part of the Saudi Arabian royalty, I believe. Or some Saudi Arabian royal family, or some wealthy family, something to do with Saudi Arabia, nothing to do with Iraq at all, and then we go and invade Iraq. Because that makes sense. Okay, in what universe? So, yeah. Anyway, what do we got here? We got some golf in 2006.
2006 U.S. Senior Open Men's Golf, Prairie Dunes, GC defending champion Alan Doyle wins by 2 strokes ahead of Tom Watson for his 4th Champions Tour major title.
All right. You want to take this next sports one?
2009, Joe Sakic retires after 21 NHL seasons with the Quebec Nordics Colorado Avalanche franchise, finishing with 625 goals and 1,641 points.
Did you just pronounce Colorado as collateral?
I probably did. My mouth's getting really dry over here.
All right. Then I'll take some articles here. Drink some water, good sir. 2007, South Sudan gained independence and seceded from Sudan. All right. And while that was going on, Super Rugby final, Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, Queensland Reds defeated Canterbury Crusaders 18-13 at home for their first SR title. All right, Super Rugby, I believe it's SR. Cool. 2013, Adam Ondra on-sites Cabane au Canada in Switzerland, the second ever on-site of a 9A 5.14D route. What did I just read? This reeks of cricket. Or maybe, let's see here. Okay, Canada, maybe rugby, I don't know. Granite Rail, what the hell? I'm seeing here on July 9, 2013, Andra realized the second ever on-site of a 9A route in history, Alexander Megos, with the ascent of Cabane au Canada in Rayo, Switzerland, completed the second free ascent of the 1,000-meter Grante route, the Dawn Wall. 32 pitch grade. What the hell is even this? Is it running? Or... Oh, rock climbing! Okay. Okay, so this is a rock climbing thing. So, rock climbing. Alright. So that's why this is... I think this is the first ever rock climbing article we've ever had on this show. So, alright. 2014, spokesperson for medical aid for Palestinians claimed that at least 7 children have been killed by Israeli airstrikes. What have I been saying? Conqueror's nation trying to completely take over everything in their area. They're genociding a certain people, and everybody's just turning a blind eye, being good little, obedient sheep, listening to what the news tells them. And who owns the news? And the same people. So, 2014, Typhoon Ramusten, one of only 3 known Category 5 super typhoons, formed in the South China Sea, went on to kill 151 people. There's a Pokemon reference right there. So, 151, gotta kill them all. Actually, that's more of a Pow World quote right there. So,
yeah.
Speaking of which, yeah, we're gonna be getting into Pow World here hopefully later today. You and I, you found some findings on the server thing, so I'm interested
I
on what
believe
you
I
have to
figured
say.
it out. Not
Awesome.
100% sure, but
Awesome. 2015, Chuck Blazer received a lifetime ban from FIFA and all football-related activity due to corruption. Yeah, that would cause it. So, we also have the 48th San Diego Comic-Con. Began until the 12th, so between now until the 12th, so 3 days. Included a preview of the new Star Wars film by J.J. Abrams, and that was The Force Awakens, right? Like the first in the Disney trilogy that was complete and utter shite. Yeah. 2016 Wimbledon women's tennis. Serena Williams defeated Angelique Kerber 7-5, 6-3, equaling Steffi Graf's 22 Grand Slam single titles. Whoa, impressive! 22 titles, man. I wonder if she's overthrown her by now. It's been 8 years. But then again, she has to be retired by now, right? Are they Williams sisters retired yet? Do you know by chance?
Oh,
I don't know. I would look it up, but we're already an hour and a half in. I would assume so. But how goes your hydration situation, good sir? Do you have the? Do you want to take a couple more?
Where were we at? 2014?
2017, English International.
Oh, yeah. CEO, Elon Musk, guy that wants to put chip in your brain, is the first owner of Tesla's first mass market electric car, Model 3.
Yep. Spoke about that yesterday, and he's the first owner. Whoop-de-doo. Chinese made. Thank you.
Ding, ding, dong, doo.
Yep.
I'm autistic. Not look at me. I smoke weed.
Yeah.
Let me put a chip in your brain.
Yeah.
I smoke weed.
Yeah, let me cause more environmental disasters by pit mining, all the lithium and crap, and utilizing China to build the Teslas. Oh, but you think you're saving the world by buying a Tesla? Yeah, okay. Remember that tweet somebody made about going off about I'm never buying a Tesla again. I'm going to switch to Volkswagen because I want nothing to do with people who are involved in fascism. And they were saying that unironically. It's like, Hitler invented Volkswagen. So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do we got here?
2017 English international football player Wayne Rooney announces he will leave Manchester United after 13 years to rejoin his original club, Everton.
That is, what's the word?
Good for him.
Yeah, but not dedication. What's the word? Loyalty. That is loyalty right there. Coming back home after 13 years. Hell yeah. Good on Mr. Rooney. Oh, we got some protests here in Turkey.
2017, hundreds of thousands protests against the Turkish government at a rally in Istanbul, Turkey.
Huh. Not as much as the millions, who protested from a previous article, but still hundreds of thousands is nothing to sneeze at. Huh. 2017 as well, Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi proclaimed victory over Islamic State forces in Mosul. All right. In 2017 as well, Thai amateur Athiela Thidikul became the youngest winner in a female professional golf event at 14 years, 4 months, and 19 days at Ladies European Thailand Championship. All right. Youngest golf pro. Awesome. 14 years, man. Like,
right?
Barely even started becoming a woman. Like, 2018, 4 more boys were rescued from Tham Luang Nan Cove, Cave, Thailand, after having been trapped there with 8 others and their coach for 17 days by monsoon flooding. 4 boys and their coach are the last to be relieved of their situation. But yeah, we've been talking about this for the past couple of days. Amazing how they saved them all. I believe they saved them all. 2008, bright pink is the world's oldest biological color, according to scientists. Produced by tiny cyanobacteria in 1.1 billion year old marine shale rock from ThEoD Basin, Mauritania. All right. Well, that's interesting. Like that, pink is such an old color. But that reminds me.
Wow.
You want to see something really pink? Let's see if I can find it.
Okay, I'm watching.
Well, actually, I'm trying to see if I can. Actually, hold on a second. Let me. While I'm looking this up, you want to take over 2018 as well? I got to look this up on my other YouTube channel.
2018, really 4 more boys are rescued from.
Eritrean. Sorry.
Right, King. 2018, Eritrean President Isaias F. and Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed officially end the no war, no peace deal made in 2000 in Eritrea's capital Asmara.
All right, so I found the video here, and this is from several years ago. I was taking a road trip with my dad up and down California, and we ended up in this youth hostel. It's a whole story in and of itself, and if anybody wants to see this, it's AO's California Safari Day 1. But let me play this real quick here. So here we are, finally in San Francisco, and we decided to just hoof it and look for hotels and things, and in all the 7 hours it took us to get here, it never dawned on me until like we were starting to be like, okay, we gotta find a hotel. Like, I have a phone in my hand, I have the internet, we have the technology, why not research? So we found this cool little place. It's not too expensive, and the walls though are pretty loud until you get into the bathroom. I open the door and then pink. Whoa!
Oh,
I know, right?
Wow.
I don't think your eyes were ready for that color transition. It went from freaking like so are pretty loud until you get into the bathroom. I open the door and then pink. Whoa. And all that stuff. So
I
mean, like my skin color changes. It's so pink. Like that is like Vanta pink. And I had to shower in that room. I couldn't tell like if I was clean or not because everything was pink. Anyway, 2018 as well, hedge fund billionaire David Tepper bought Carolina Panthers for an NFL record $2.275 billion with a B, illion, not illion, billion dollars. $2.25 billion to buy a sports team. Oh my God. Like, wow. We're not even talking in the hundreds of millions anymore. We're talking about the billions. Yeah.
Oh.
2018 as well, U.S. coffee company Starbucks announced it will stop using plastic straws by 2020, reducing more than 1 billion straws a year. Yeah, gee, thanks. You know.
No one can eat paper straws, super asshole.
Oh, God. Paper straws are absolutely disgusting. Like.
Never had one, never would.
Yeah. Like I've literally this for a while, and it kind of still is. It's a credential. If I go into a restaurant, one of the first things is I ask, "Do you have plastic straws?" And if the answer is no, I just turn around and go somewhere else.
Leave.
I leave. You know, It's not that I'm trying to kill the turtles. It's that I don't want to drink a pulpy ass drink. I don't want to drink pulpy water. You know.
Yeah.
Like. Hell, I barely can stomach pulpy orange juice, but at least pulp belongs there, and it's of the same thing. It's not some.
It's not the answer. It's like, I don't know. I can't figure out a.
It's stupid.
Way to just.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I'm pretty sure you saw this, but especially out here in the greater LA area, do you have any idea after the straw ban and everything? The amount of masks just thrown on the floor at gas stations and everything, But, oh, we ban straws. We're helping the environment. Oh, da-da-da-da. Meanwhile, there's literally millions, if not tens of millions, of discarded masks floating in the sea now. Oh, but we ban straws. We're progressive. Oh, we're stupid. Freaking idiots. So, anyway, 2019 Indian restaurateur Dosa King P. Rajagopal finally began his life sentence for organizing a murder 15 years after he was convicted. Now, wait a minute. Isn't this the same guy we spoke about yesterday and we saw, or the other day, we saw a video about it? We referenced this. Hold on a second.
Did we?
Or that was an Italian guy, right? Or, you know what I'm talking about. You know, when they used Google Maps and they found that guy? No, this is some other dude.
Yeah.
Is this the same guy?
Is it?
No. No, he doesn't have that scar. So this is some other guy.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so it was the Italian guy, but wow, that's wild. So, anyway, what do we got here in 2019?
2019 Indian restaurateur Dosa King P. Rajagopal finally begins his life sentence for organizing a murder 15 years after he was convicted.
I believe we already did that one.
2019 Northern Ireland MPs vote to extend same-sex marriage and make abortion legal to bring it in line with the rest of the UK.
All right. So yeah, that was Northern Ireland, and the UK stands for United Kingdom. There's England, there's Ireland, there's Scotland, and together they are the United Kingdom. So, yeah. Oh, this is interesting. 2020, just 4 years ago.
That's it. 2020 McGrick versus Oklahoma in landmark case in Supreme Court rules Congress had not disestablished Oklahoma Indian Reserve.
Huh. I don't know if that's bad or good or what. Like, if you disestablish it, then they're going away, so that's not good.
I know.
Okay.
The wording on that.
Yeah. It's very lawyer wording. So,
Yeah.
But just the next year, we saw a video yesterday about this, actually. We were going on about, like, wasn't it a recent happening? Somebody died in Death Valley over the past week or something.
Yeah.
So,
that was a motorcyclist.
you gonna tell us about it?
Yeah. Oh, Death Valley, California, its temperatures of 130 degrees, or 54.4 Celsius, one of the highest temperatures ever recorded on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's called Death Valley for a reason, and not because it has delicious chocolate cake. It's not Chocolate Cake Valley, it's not Ice Valley, it's bloody Death Valley, because you go there and you die, you know? So, we have some more heat in 2021 as well. June of 2021 was declared U.S.'s hottest June ever recorded in 127 years. Whoa. Averaging temperature of 72.6 degrees or 4.2 degrees above average. So, yeah. And right now, where I'm sitting, I just saw it here on my my thing here really quick. It was 81 degrees right now, where I'm at. 2022, a Russian airstrike on a residential building in Chasiv Yar, eastern Ukraine, killed at least 27. Yeah, well, during, the war that's going on over there. So, and would you care to take the last two articles, and then I'll close this out here?
All right. In 2022, thousands of Sri Lanka protesters stormed the presidential palace and set the Prime Minister's house on fire in Colombo, leading to promises both will resign amid continuing economic turmoil. Well, sometimes you gotta burn the president's palace down.
Yeah. Maybe we should take a page out of that book. Like, I'm not condoning.
Mum's the word, burn, FBI listening.
I'm never one to condone violence, but you know, if there's no solution, then something needs to happen. You know, if the opposition force, you know, gives you no room to work with, then something has to give. You know, and I brought this up many times. How many times did we plead to the British Empire for independence because of taxation without representation? I mean, when the opposition gives you no choice but violence, then what are you going to do? Sit there and be submissive, or stand up for your rights? Something's got to give.
Something's got to give.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And last but not least, we have some Beijing news, or history at least. Just last year,
2023, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and Chinese economic leaders, and 2 days of talks in Beijing amid stabilizing relations between the world's two biggest economies.
All right. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links you may find interesting, including but unlimited to all things Omni Coalition. Did I... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Oh, wow. I completely did not put in the last portion of the script in this thing, so hold on a second. Base script. There we go. Let's see here. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 11 in the morning Pacific time, which is 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. And we're not just here on, YouTube and Rumble. We're also on BitChute and Odyssey. Check out our link tree down there. We do have other shows. We have the Omni Coalition News Show, Weird on Unusual Notable Events, Weather, and Sports, every Freya's Day, Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. We have the Omni Coalition Show, which I did want to do yesterday, but I also wanted to take yesterday off because I've been doing the show straight for, about a week and change now. And both King and I decided to take the day off. He went out fishing, and I took a nap. So... but yeah, no, we have a talk show about whatever, both planned and spontaneous. Try to have that on Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So yeah, if you want to watch us at, live, if you're on the West Coast, it's 11 and 3 all for the Mountain, 12 and 4 watch us for more, Central 1 and 5 for the Contrive, East 2 and 6 for your fix. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander.
Refuge.
And you, viewer, of course, are you. Thank you very much for watching, and all that stuff. And until you catch us next time, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!
Deuces.
All right, in the stream here.